Hi, it's been a long time since I updated, and I wanted to show you some new things that I put on my channel just so that everyone is oriented with the new system. I need to orient with the new system. So the first thing is there's a playlist of videos and different channels that I watch genuinely, and there is an overlap, and I had to figure out how I wanted to balance that out, be true to me, and also help out my fellow YouTuber. So that's there. It is in emojis. I can change the name, but I believe that should still be accessible. If it isn't, let me know, because the idea is that anybody can go on my channel, see who I follow, but not necessarily who I follow, who I actually genuinely like, and get a feel for what my inner circle is, and hopefully be able to get some people together. That would be really nice. And anybody that's a stranger to this community, or maybe a new person, can also see who we follow. And it's a lot less effort than making videos, because although I love doing shout outs for different channels, it does make more work for me. And that's the other thing. I'm just starting to get back into thinking, okay, what do I want to do for this channel? And for once, I don't know, and I'm just gonna let it slowly start developing. I'm almost done with the journal video. I had another hold up, and my schedule is starting to free up, but there's still some work to do to work toward consistency, and that's okay. I've been loving the YouTube community lately because we aren't posting as much and we're being more authentic. I love smaller channels, though I do occasionally love the bigger ones too. The next thing is, I've already told you about my music playlist, which that's there for anybody that wants to know what I personally like. Just to give you some idea of who I am outside of my channel and outside of a semi-professional setting, but also not giving away too much about myself. And the second thing is going to be what I talk about on my channel. I am going to be talking about more real things, more everyday things. I am just starting to get back into witchcraft, back into heathenry. It's going to be a lot quieter than it used to. I'm not going to be doing as much promoting. And this is a tough one, accessibility. I do want to do my best, but I don't have a desktop right now. Technology has been weird. A lot of features that made making things accessible easy are no longer available. So I am going to do what is easiest for me. That all being said, if somebody wants to know anything, please feel free to ask in the comments. And I know that's kind of a pain. One of the biggest ones, and this one's kind of embarrassing for me, is describing things, because I also am low vision, and it's hard for me to describe even things because I know some people that are totally blind, but I also know what a pain it is to ask. I am going to be doing some very artful films, and I've come up with some ways to do other films with slightly different content that are shorter, so they're easier to edit, and then that way you can watch either or and still get a hold of the same information. And that's one of the reasons why I'm making those changes with the tag video for, I said healing crystals, I think, but I meant to say positive energy crystal journal. Positive energy, well, it could be positive energy journal with positive energy with crystals. There we go. It was a mouthful. The next thing that I want to talk about is how open I'm going to be about things like my identity, things like my style, things like fashion, things about my jokes about being an elf. I'm probably going to talk about that a little less, but in a better way. And it's going to be, I think, in a good way. Because I always have one foot in fantasy and one foot in reality. And that's what I'm all about. I don't talk about these things, even witchcraft and heathenry, to escape. I do them to integrate myself into physical life, into everyday life. And that's really what I've always been working towards. And I think now I'm getting to a point where I feel a little more confident. The next is going to be different platforms. My Instagram is just a personal platform now. It used to be my cosplay. Now it's not going to be anymore because, as I said, a lot of things have changed. And I like posting pictures sometimes. I like visuals. And other times I like writing. So Facebook is going to be the one that I'm going to be writing the most. I am probably not going to be writing in my community tab. And I don't think that I'm going to do Patreon after all. Now, I don't want to say never, because that might change, but having limited tools means that I need to make things as easy as possible. In my recent talks about my twin flame symptoms, one of the things that went is my eyes. And it's getting more obvious to me that I need to use my eyes less. So that means I need to preserve them for things that mean more to me. The visuals that I like to show and to look at. So I'm going to be doing things in a very different way. And that's going to affect my channel. This is kind of important for me because, and this is in one of the ways I want to talk about my disability now. I don't really see myself doing everything all audio, and that's getting more talked about now, which makes me really, really happy, because for a while I had a lot of people that told me there was something psychologically wrong with me because I felt too overwhelmed by too much audio. And I feel overwhelmed by a lot of the world, and in staying inside, it has made me quieter. And what this has done, if it has done any good at all, is it has allowed me to live my low-tech lifestyle that I want to have. But if I do that, I do need to make some changes. And in some ways, some sacrifices. And I didn't mean to go all over the place with that and give you a way too long explanation to explain this, but this is what I'm going to do with that in terms of my channel. I am going to be showing more visuals, probably more shorts, and I'm going to continue to show my face and probably longer forms of content less, but I do want to do them because that is going to be the way that I will try and work around the accessibility thing. I definitely want to get more positive, but I also do want to take stands on certain subjects, and that's going to be new on my channel. But I don't want to do it in an aggressive way. I want to do it sparingly. I want to choose what I want to talk about very carefully, because as a lot of people have been talking about, YouTube has been, our community on YouTube has been fighting, and it breaks my heart to see that. And I don't want to see that. I want to see more communication. I want to see us engage more with each other. And I'm seeing a lot of us that are starting to do that, and that makes me very happy. I also have put a lot of other playlists that I am going to allow the public to look at. So you, again, get a feel for my personal life, but only what I show you. And I'm not going to do a fancy intro anymore. I'm not going to do a closing or a catchy statement to advertise my channel anymore, because that's just not me. And the internet has very little place in my life right now. I like it sometimes, but it needs to support my physical life. It needs to support the life that I have outside of it. And for a long time it was not. And part of that was because I did not have a life outside of it. The internet was my only life. And that is changing a lot now. And that makes me really happy. I have been able to let go of a lot of things, so a lot of things no longer apply. That being said, I have no trouble with other people seeing my mess. It is what it is, and I don't want to be ashamed of that anymore. I also know that there are a lot of dangerous things happening with images, audio, and to a certain point, I don't want to be afraid of that, because the fear is really what feeds that. But I am going to be showing my face and probably my fashion less because of that. And that breaks my heart, but also in another way it doesn't. I did not like showing off. That part is genuine. But when I do show off, I don't want to feel like I'm putting myself in a situation that is dangerous to me. And that kind of allowed me to balance my life out, to make space for myself to be glamorous, for myself to be elaborate, for myself to walk around like this. So in a lot of ways that was good, because it disabled me, excuse the term, from self-sabotaging, from creating a life that was not authentic. And I'm really happy that it's forcing me to be myself. And I'm learning to balance out being careful and, working around societal expectations. I don't know what I'm doing right now for a job. I don't think anybody really knows. We're all in this place of uncertainty. And that is another reason why I'm not really going to worry about what happens to my YouTube. I also want to engage more with people on a personal level. And that means engaging less with playing the game on YouTube. But I do need to keep the algorithm going. And I'm learning to figure out what works for me and what doesn't, and rebalance that. And the last part of this is going to be more about some personal things. I don't want to see people, good people that care about human life, that get bullied online because they're white, because they're Christian, because they're old. I don't want to see people in marginalized communities feel like they're putting themselves in a dangerous situation online in our community. I can't speak for the rest of the internet. It is what it is. And I finally feel like I have the guts to say it. I hear a lot of people's voices, and I hear that you are all correct in my thinking in some way. The way I see it is we all have a piece, and this stuff with drama online, with trolls, with people trying to engage other people into sabotaging others and really toxic stuff is making me feel very heartbroken and want to walk away from the community. And I don't want to do that. And I think to a certain point I had to choose what I wanted to do, because silence can be a teacher, silence can be a statement, and anyone that does walk away because of that, I don't blame them. But I decided that if I'm going to go down, I want to go down being seen. If my page is going to get removed for some dumbass reason, then I want it to get removed for me being authentically me. Because it's just a page. And I think the thing that's scaring people, though, is how to protect ourselves in our daily lives, because the YouTube actually very recently, but all of social media is exposing all of us. And people are finding people online and meeting them in daily life. It's become part of our daily life in a very exposed, personal way that I do not like. And that is scary, and we do need to be careful what we put online. But it almost doesn't matter anymore. The truth of the matter is that if somebody's going to find me, they're going to do it anyway. I just learned how to use my split screen. Cool. I don't know if I'll ever need it, but hey. My phone comes with all kinds of new gadgets now, and I'm trying to learn it all, and of course none of it is accessible anymore. That's the other scary part. My phone that I bought for enjoying the visuals, and I have an Android, if you must know. Since Google is putting their hands in it, it has taken away a lot of the visual accessibility, and it's forcing me to rely completely on audio, which I am very unhappy about. But as I said, I think it will help me use my phone less. I'm hoping that we will also be able to meet in person, and as witchcraft, heathenry, and more religions become more exposed, I'm also hoping that in time, I say in time, that someone can openly talk about things and not feel like a target, and that more communities will commonly come together and hopefully not have to worry about who they're affiliated with to come together. I know I probably still could go back to my pagan community. I had a local one. But I almost feel like it's easier to meet people outside of my community, which is really what I wanted. I just wanted to make friends. I didn't want to join a religious community. And I felt like I was going back and forth between either joining a religious community and making a huge commitment to my life, and it does take away a lot from my daily life, or joining a community that is just on the internet for having a community and for making friends, and then not having friends in daily life and being able to do what I need to do in daily life. And I have the feeling that this is going to come to a compromised level, that I'm finally going to be able to have a little of both, and then I'm going to be able to decide what I want to participate in and what I don't. There's not too much that I want to say more about my channel, except that I think it's going to be nice. I think it's going to be a much better channel, and I am going to talk about my disability with daily things. I am going to talk about it when I choose to speak about political issues, on the rare occasion, yes. And it's going to be brief, and I am not going to engage with people. If someone comments, even if someone throws me off the internet, does something to my channel, takes away my good reputation and talks shit about me, I'm not going to worry about it. I've decided that if my channel goes down, that's okay. It's mine. And anybody that decides that they're going to listen to all that crap isn't worth my time to worry about. And if that's all my viewers, that's fine. Because ultimately, we are the threat. And they wouldn't take down our channels if we weren't a threat. And there's power in that. Even if they don't have a conscience, even if it doesn't affect them, or they don't think about us at all, it's still there. And I know that sounds like I'm belittling it, I'm watering it down, but I don't feel that way. Because even if it's in their unconscious mind, or even if it's floating around in the back of their head, it's still going to be there. And I like to believe that there's power in that too. And as a final note, I am going to be doing projects and crafts. But I am not going to worry about filming the really cool, the really cool video while I'm doing the projects and doing demos or anything like that, because it's not me and it's too difficult for me to do. And I felt a lot of pressure to do that, and I don't want to feel that pressure anymore. And I'm starting to see people walk away from that too. Like Lady Blind Wolf is one of my favorite channels. And you know why? Because Lady Blind Wolf doesn't pretend to be something professional, something fake. And sometimes that means showing some really not so great videos, but on your channel. But that's okay. I like seeing actual genuine people talk. I didn't join YouTube to make videos to become a professional. I do like producing, and that's something also that I had to come to peace with, because my father did work for a producing company, and I have some issues with my father, and I worked through that, and I no longer fear that part of myself being associated with my father. I mean, it is, but it's okay, because I'm still being me. I'm still making that choice. Sorry, I know this was really rambly, but and a very long conversation, but a lot has happened. I swear AI just sabotaged me. Just because I said it, they're like, okay, you want a bad video? Okay, we're just going to split your screen. I think that was my sensor. That's one of the things that the iPhones have, is they have that sensor, and sometimes it acts up even when I'm not touching the phone, or I put my face close to it, and when you're low vision, you do that a lot. That is why I am so unhappy with what they did to the Galaxy Androids. Oh, why? Anyway, okay, back to the point that I was making. So, producing videos. I am okay with my bad videos. I am okay with watching non-professional videos, because I like doing that, but I'm not, that's not why I'm here. And that was the point I was making. That's not why I'm here. In order to accommodate for people that cannot see, for different minds, for some people that just appreciate the visuals, and for others that would love to hear me talk, because even I like that. Sometimes I like to listen to other people like it's a podcast over actually looking at their videos, especially that being a low vision blind thing. I will be making shorts sometimes, and if I really want to talk about something, I will be making a longer video where I talk about it, so that way there's different content within each video, but about the same subject, like a part 1 and part 2. And but also you can look at both, or either or, and get the same information that I want to share on my YouTube channel. I hope that makes sense. When I do it, you'll understand. So I had to make adjustments to the Positive Energy Journal tag video, but that is coming up. But I wanted to do this first. I decided to do this first so that I could reorient myself with my own system and reorient you with my system as my viewer. I'm here to make friends. I'm here, well, not even that. I'm here to make online friends, because there is a difference. I'm here to engage with my community. And now I'm here to make art and share my art with you. And that was another part of it. I had to be comfortable with sharing my art, with saying, yes, I'm showing off. I'm really proud of this. Even if it looks like crap, it's mine, and I'm happy with it. And that's something that all of this mess and chaos has done, has brought me to my true self, and I'm really happy with who I see when I look in the mirror. I'm really happy with who I see when I look at my films. I'm no longer ashamed to feel happy about that. And I like who I am in this community. I like who I'm becoming. And I like how this channel is starting to shape up. If I need to, I probably will do Patreon, but I'm still not gonna rely on it for money unless, I don't even know if because I don't think I'll make that much, really. I don't think that's realistic. But if I do that, I'm still not gonna market as much, because I don't think that's what people want to see. I never have. I think that's what social media wants us to see, wants us to think that we want to see. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to lose the spirit of my brand if I had a brand. You know what I mean? Feel free to browse my channel and to see what I've put up. My LinkTree is there if you want to check out where I am. I may be adding some other links, and some other links I'm going to be keeping for myself to have personal space, to do things that I'm not going to be exposing all of YouTube to, just for my own, maybe mini communities, things like that. And yeah, I just hope you like what you see, and feel free to subscribe if you want to follow me. And I really want to thank the people that have followed me and have commented and visited my channel. Thank you very much. It means a lot. And it's nice to see new people. It really is nice to meet other people. And if you're still watching this video, thank you. It means a lot to me too. I'll see you next time.